Well, the bloodline was in the first 30 minutes of the show with a promo, then a tag title match where Riddle was stretchered off. Oh no, we may not see him for a bit. What an absolute shame. And then we had a three-way match where Bayley, Rhea, and Asuka did a lot of really good grappling. Yes, we had the first poker tournament segment, which was shit, but we got Lashley and Seth Pheasant Rollins brawling, and Petey Williams took a hell of a spear, but then the show fell right off a goddamn cliff and kept falling and falling and falling, and I don't even think I can recognize what that actually was, because it fell, broke its back on some goddamn rocks, and then kept falling and falling, and so many jagged edges poking into that show, poking so many goddamn holes into it. It's amazing that anybody stuck around, but judging by the crowd energy, it seemed like everybody decided to feel asleep. Good old translations for the NES games. Metal Gear. Man, it's hard to believe they actually had a franchise out of that with translations like that. Nevertheless, I'm John Rentham with my review, WWE Raw from Washington, D.C. Jesus, they were just going to phone this shit in until we get to the Rumble. So anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. The Bloodline, without Roman, show up. They do their normal promo. Also, we do see that the Usos nearly got caught in a... They nearly got run over by Riddle's scooter. Kind of funny that the Usos, who are known for having a bit too much drinking, getting behind the wheel when they shouldn't, and almost causing accidents, nearly got caught in their own drive-by. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that. It is what it is, but come on, that was just kind of funny. It was, not really. Then Elias gets off of a tour bus because he had his cue, got beat up, and got put into the barricades that were just sitting there for some reason. So now Riddle doesn't have a tag partner. The match is canceled. Zayn also calls himself a certified Usologist, which I admit was a little bit funnier than it should have been. Jay was trying not to crack. I mean, he was doing better than he did with the not feeling very Ucy, but you could tell he's like, just trying not to crack. Riddle says, hey, I found a partner, though. It's Kevin Owens. I mean, it was pretty obvious, by the way, when he said he found a partner. In fact, actually, it was going to be pretty obvious when Riddle came out. It's like, it's got to be Owens. Because Owens is not done with the Bloodline. He's done with Zayn, but he ain't done with the Usos. So they had a tag title match, and it was fine. It was fine. Actually, it was pretty well wrestled. They also had Riddle in it, so it was really hard for me to care. See, Riddle's good in the ring. I just don't give a shit about him, and he bores me, and he annoys me to the point that I don't want to see him on television. I can recognize that he's a great athlete. Owens and Zayn, we have more stuff, you know, interactions with them. Dive on everybody where Jay got pulled out of the way by Sami Zayn, and if you didn't see it, don't worry. Commentary makes sure to remind you 80 million times during the rest of the show. And the 1D on Riddle for 3. Oh, God, Riddle took the pin. Jeez, something good actually happened on this show. So, Riddle was going to get beat down 4-on-1, but Owens got a chair and chased off everybody, except Solo, who suddenly has his thumb taped up. Has Solo always had his thumb taped up, or has he had it taped up recently? And I know he was honoring Umaga. That goddamn family tree just goes everywhere, and I'm not knocking. It's a great lineage. He honors Umaga with the Samoan spike. Is it 13 years since Umaga's passed away? It's close to it, I believe. I mean, I know he died in December of 2009. I'm trying to remember the date. But that was cool. And he then put a chair on Riddle's neck and did the, you know, the bump in the corner. And then Riddle was staring up at the spotlight and hurt his neck. God, it would be such a shame if Riddle was written off of television for a while. I don't know why Riddle was written off of television. I'm not complaining because I don't really want to see the douche nozzle, but nevertheless. Fine, this was fine for what it was, and it actually gave Solo something to do. Rhea then says she'll win tonight. Fortunately, Dominic was not at ringside, so I could actually be interested in the match. Why is there a poker tournament on a wrestling show, or poker, invitational poker? I barely know her. Why? To what end? Why is JBL on any wrestling program in 2022? He can't wrestle anymore. It's the same shit that he's been doing since like 2004. And at least then he was WWE champion and somewhat able to move. But good God. This is just abysmal television. Everybody's trying to attempt to do comedy. There was a CCH Pounder sign in the crowd. I assume that's how you say her name. I actually don't really know. I believe she was an orphan, if I remember right. She was the one that got killed. One of many. It was funny. She's also a great actress. I don't know why I led with her getting killed an orphan, because she actually is a great actress. Becky came through the crowd to antagonize Bayley. Okay, she's doing this again, but she did where instead of going into the crowd, she came down the steps and was antagonizing. I noted Bayley can't hide all that. Sorry, it's impossible to not notice. It's impossible. Bayley calls, Becky eventually gets in the ring. Bayley calls Becky out for living in the past, all this. They did a good back and forth promo for what it was. Rhea comes down and stares down Becky. I am totally fine during this. I would be totally fine. I only want to see this in the ring and nowhere else. Nevertheless, okay, you want to sign me up for this? I would love to see this at the Rumble or see them stare up. You could have this happen at Mania. I mean, I don't think they're going to have it happen at Mania. It's probably going to be at the Rumble. But we get Bayley, Rhea, and Asuka. It's a three-way contenders match where the winner gets to face the winner of the contenders match three-way in the main event, and then the winner of that faces off against Bianca. Complicated. I mean, not really, but it's like there are too many triple threat multi-person matches across all WWE, AEW, New Japan. Well, I mean, maybe not New Japan program, but across those two particular brands. And since I watch both, I've noticed they tend to overcomplicate things. Nevertheless, this match had a lot. I noted, as the kids say, cake. It is impossible to not notice. All three of these women are talented. All three of these women look good. And they all cut a really good pace here. This was good stuff. It was typical. It went a while, but then again, given some of the bullshit we got on the rest of the show, it's a good thing they gave these women a chance to actually go out there and shine. Rhea ends up crashing on the outside, trying to do the rolling senton. Asuka gets hit with the rose plant, 1, 2, 3. And then Rhea, being a sore loser, despite the fact she didn't take the pin, says, Asuka, plant with the riptide. Haha, boom. Asuka's just getting beat down. Rhea and Asuka in a little mini feud, I'm all for that, because we're not going to pull the trigger on Becky and Rhea yet. So then we get Drew, who is off of SmackDown. Not medically cleared. I don't know if he's injured, sick. I don't know what. I hope he's going to be all right. So Peter Dune is going to replace him. It's Sheamus and Peter Dune against the Usos. Best well wishes to Drew. So, anyway. Whoa. Okay, I already did that. Seth Pheasant Rollins talks about Lashley and, talks about beating him. And Lashley shows up. What would you like to tell me, Seth? And then he starts antagonizing him about Brock Lesnar. Well, this isn't about Brock Lesnar, but he keeps antagonizing him. So then they go nose to nose. They start hitting each other. Agents, referees, popcorn vendors, and janitors come out. And eventually Petey Williams, that they call Pete Williams, got hit with a spear. Fun fact, about a year ago, or just over a year ago, I got to see Petey Williams at an indie show. Let me tell you right now, getting to see that guy, that was a fucking thrill. It was great. That was really, really cool. It's Petey Williams versus Nick Wayne. I don't know if it's on YouTube. If it is, Petey Williams versus Nick Wayne without a cause. Which is a promotion that used to run and unfortunately ran its last show as of yesterday. And there we go. Great memories. Support your local independent wrestling. Whatever state, whatever country you're in, doesn't matter. Just support it. Support it. Go see. You don't know what stars tomorrow you'll see, and you don't know what local talents you'll get to see, and you don't know what big talents you'll get to see. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, this was cool enough, and then unfortunately, everything just went to shit. Everything went down dramatically. Speaking of going down dramatically, my interest in seeing the next thing, because Austin Theory is there trying to be interesting. I respectfully disagree, or rather unrespectfully disagree. And Ali challenges him to a match. And then I don't want any more of your shit after I beat you. He didn't say shit, but he implied it. More poker bullshit. Loomis wins and has an axe and presents it if anybody tries to debate him. This is terrible television. Why was this happening? Why was this happening? Why? Who said this is a good idea? I just want to talk by basically giving them the Full Metal Jacket treatment. Remember that? Where they took a bunch of stuff in socks and beat a guy with it? That needs to happen with every creative member that came up with this stuff. And if it's a writer that's just trying to break into Hollywood, break his legs. Okay, bit harsh. He's just trying to do his job. But it's a terrible job. You were terrible at your job, random writer that I just made up in my head. Theory versus Ali ended. This is the third match, by the way, 93 minutes into the show on a 3-hour show. Ziggler then shows up and causes a DQ. Ali gets pissed and Theory bops both of them and then knocks out Ziggler. They are never going to push Ali. Oh, Ali might actually win the U.S. title at Mania. Yeah, and they won't book him well at all. Just let the guy go. Let him go somewhere else. So anyway, more poker stuff where Tozawa and Dominic are going to have a match. Gable keeps shushing people and all this, and this is bad. Really, really bad. Why is this happening? Kathy Kelly, I noted, and Bianca talks about her challengers, mentions that Alexa and her become close, and that Alexa could win and all this, and ha 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 ha. Whatever. Yeah, there are Alexa fans out there. That's great. I'll talk about that in a minute, but good God. We get it. Sammy saved Jey Uso from a dive. And then Riddle got stretchered out. JBL is here. He joins commentary. JBL is absolute just... He is literal human cancer to freaking commentary. Speaking of which, or whatever, when I mentioned the show fell off a cliff, this show fell off a cliff just like Kirstie Alley's health fell off a goddamn cliff. And that's what Scientology, stupidity, brainlessness, and being a goddamn, right-wing twat will get you. Bye, bitch. At least we'll always have cheers where everybody knows your name and they're glad you came and left. So yeah, if you're any Kirstie Alley fans, you're probably going to hate me. So, Styles and the Good Brothers, home of the Good Brothers, maybe take your order. And Mia Yim, Mia Yim's in the corner. Alpha Academy and Corbin on the opposite side. JBL mocks flippy floppers. People that actually are capable of wrestling and exciting people. JBL has never really excited anybody except when he was part of the APA or the Acolytes or whatever, when Ron Simmons was the best of the team. Magic Killer on Gable after a lot of time. Geez, just have Gable lay down and take the pin. Why do you even have Gable wrestle? Why do you have Gable wrestle? If he wins a match, it's his one win for like 4 to 6 months. You don't want him there. Just pay him to sit at home for 6 months and bring him back. Honestly, I know that not everybody can be pushed all the time, but Gable is too talented to constantly eat the pins. Oh, but they could build up Otis. Oh, the guy that was the, guy from Heavy Machinery. He can't be taken seriously. He can't be. There's a lot of stuff in Triple H's version of WWE that needs to be fixed. So anyway, Candice cuts a promo. Whoever came up with the idea to have her cut a promo deserves to have their salary cut to 0. Fire them too. And then Gargano and Loomis show up with a bunch of money that he won in a poker game, that he dumped out of a bag that he got from Miz, who paid him off and all this and whatever. Let's save some time. Dominic beat Tozawa in a match that had no right to be on television, because Dominic has no right to be on television. Corey talking about being a sucker for romance and breaking up his own marriage. So the Profits show up, and we're probably going to get a 6-man at some point with Tozawa against the Judgment Day. Oh, that's riveting goddamn television. Pearson tells Lashley, I know that he didn't hit Williams on purpose, but if you do something like that again, there's going to be consequences. Consequences next week will involve Io and Candice, who actually had a really good match on NXT TakeOver event, so maybe it won't be bad. Rollins and Lashley, just don't have fucking Candice cut promos. Just don't. Don't have her or Gargano cut promos. Bayley versus the winner of the next 3-way, and it was going to be, unfortunately, Alexa. Becky, Nikki, and unfortunately Alexa in a 3-way match, and Jesus goddamn Christ, Becky Lynch has just come back and she herniated every disc and nerve in her body carrying this. Alexa's acting all angry. She's gonna go back to being the spoopy Alexa. Oh boy. And then Io and Dakota attack Becky later in the match. Nikki just got tossed around a whole lot. Io fell through the table harder than Becky did, the announcer's table, and Alexa pinned Nikki. If they give Alexa another title run, then just cancel the women's division. Like, look, I know that sounds bad, but she has no business being the champion. She was champion a while ago, has no business being champion. And while I don't hate her as a person, I am tired of seeing her because she can't work. I know she's had head injuries. I know she's had this, but good God, it is so obvious. Other people can mask this stuff. It just, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so this is going to be the Christmas, happy season. Beacon of happiness. I'm going to be all happy for the remaining shows in December. God, it's going to be so wonderful. It won't be terrible. It just won't be great because they're going to phone it in like this. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Jonathan. I'll see you soon.